I miss you.
Miss you. My goodness. We came out of the CloneX Utah event, and it has slowed down a little bit more since we ended. But yeah, but I'm doing great, and it guys, I got dumped on. The snow outside right now that's happening is wild. Like we have our house is like buried. It's so much snow. So I am also having a beautiful day. So I hope everyone else, maybe not mountains of snow, but I hope that everyone is having a beautiful day as well.
Dude, Anya, when you said I got dumped, like my heart like fell. I
I
was like,
literally did the same. I was like, wait, are you okay? You just got dumped and now you're on a space, girl.
I know, I definitely started that wrong, and I shouldn't have said dumped at all. That was so funny. No, but we really did get so much snow.
I def wants the deets on CloneX Utah, but before we do that, I want to welcome Winnie and Jess to the stage. Thank y'all so much for being here today and explaining more about Figure God. I think it's going to be a really cool, informational, and inspiring conversation. How are you ladies doing?
Doing good. I kind of wish we had snow here. It's kind of a cold, boring winter's evening in England, but yeah, doing good.
She says that as she has birds like twittering outside of like where she's it's like a
I
dream.
am, yeah, I am outside right now. I went out real quick to get dinner, so I'm on my way home. Kind of in the dark, but we move. We stay grinding out here, you know.
Slay.
Grinding in the beautiful gardens of England. Oh, so jealous of those birds tweeting outside.
Winnie, how are you doing, Queen?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you, ladies, so much for having us. I had a really great day, actually. There was the Future Fashion Summit in Paris that I went to, and it was just absolutely incredible to see what like tech innovators are doing in fashion and what's going on here in Paris. So this is a really, really good day for me.
I am so jelly. I will definitely be there next year, but I'm really glad that you're enjoying yourself. And anybody in Paris right now, props to you. Be safe. Maybe link with these amazing ladies after this combo. But that sounds cool. That sounds next year, next year, next year, next year. Okay, so to get this conversation rolling, I wanted to do just kind of like a quick intro from Winnie and Jess, just really about who you guys are, your backgrounds a little bit, just, to reintroduce yourself to the clones. We usually go about 2 hours on these spaces, but we're going to hit it an hour and a half today. I have a Web 2 meeting, and Cass is doing a space, so make sure everybody funnels in after that. But yeah, let's start with some intros. Thank you, everybody, to the room, everybody for being here. Retweet that thing, if you want to. But yeah, let's go ahead and get a little intro just on you guys, more personal than anything. I want to know you. Or not. I mean, I could totally do an intro on myself too.
I was waiting for Winnie.
Jess is the original founder, so I think Jess should go first with all of that.
Wow, really throw me under the bus like that. Yeah, so I'm Jess. I guess a bit of backstory about me is I kind of went through doing a lot of traditional art at the beginning, kind of went into 3D art in the more the commercial side of things, and then kind of found myself into the NFT space about a year ago. Primarily doing a lot of 3D art and animation. I'd love to go back to the traditional, but at the moment it is very, it's very work centered focus on figure got. So yeah, it's just been a lot of fun to be able to kind of draw all those skills and different things that I've been able to do in terms of the commercial work and bring it into one project. And it's been such a creatively, I guess, like fulfilling venture and project, and it's becoming an awesome brand. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, Jess, so you are a 21-year-old entrepreneur, which is so impressive, and your credits range from VFX for Doja Cat, Jack Harlow, like so many people. I did a deep dive on you, and I'm just so impressed. Do you want to kind of talk about a little bit of your artistic background and maybe just a tiny bit on those projects that kind of led you to Figure Got?
Yeah, so it's weird. I guess like after school, I really wanted to take a gap year and try and focus on really trying to position myself in a place where I could do art basically as a career. And I never thought it would be possible. And it was just kind of one of those off whim. If it worked well in the year, great. If it didn't, then, you know, great, still moving forward regardless. But I guess in that first year, I kind of took a lot of time off to really kind of look around, see what I could get involved in the art space. And the first thing I'd do in the first couple of months after school was just like entering as many competitions as I could and sending off as many cold emails as I could, just to I knew in the space being young can also be an advantage, but I think a lot of times in commercial based projects that is almost a hindrance. It always feels like you have lack of experience, so you kind of have to almost send out these cold emails saying like, yeah, I'll do work for you. I've done some research on your company. I'll do it for free type thing. Is I always wanted like the someone to open that door, and as soon as I get my foot in there, then I knew, you know, one thing can lead to another. So that was always my goal, and I guess yeah, I kind of did that for a couple of months. Landed a few projects with Vandy the Pink and a few commission based work for various YouTubers in terms of artwork, and that kind of allowed me to then uh, kind of build those connections and venture off then into the 3D space. I always liked both traditional art and 3D and animation, but I never knew which route to go down, and I never liked the idea of having to choose either. So I was kind of just doing whatever project was being thrown at me. I'd just go down that route. So yeah, for a while I was doing a lot of traditional art for that first year, a lot of commission based drawings and pencil crayons and that kind of thing. And then I really wanted to, obviously you can't always sell work to pay the bills, so it was like I wanted to find this another way that I could use animation alongside my traditional work, so I can kind of have this dual income. So that's when I started looking into kind of animation and how I could get myself involved in that. And through various connects that I'd done with the traditional artwork, I kind of just, you know, I reached out to one of the cold emails I reached out to 9 months ago, was able to get back. And that so happened to be a guy called Vandy the Pink on Instagram. He does a lot of like custom clothing and that kind of thing. And as soon as I landed with him, I did some work for him for a couple of years, and then it kind of had a domino effect in terms of he had suggested me to someone else, and then I kind of dipped my toe into the music industry realm, and I kind of did that for a year. Got very burnt out because, you know, it's a lot of work in kind of that space. They want you to turn around things within like a morning and a day. So that was when I started looking into other ways that I could basically just sell 3D art, or as you would in traditional world, which is what I guess the NFT space answers. Um, so that is how I kind of managed my way into the NFT space after kind of getting a bit burnt out in you know, the music industry realm, and looking for other ways that you can sell art like you would with the traditional form. So I don't know if I waffled a bit on that, but yeah.
The thing is with Jess, you really have to like beat it out of her, because she will not big herself up enough. Like, you are just too humble with how brilliant you are with your art. So like, you have to like dig at her to get it out. And also, Jess, you said you've been in the space for a year. I think you have lost track of time.
That actually is probably very true. Yeah,
It's been a bit longer than that.
that is very true. It feels like a year. I mean, although it actually feels like 10 years, but I think I've kind of lost track of everything in terms of time wise. But yeah, I gotta admit, like the NFT space, it feels like all the answers I ever kind of wanted to find in the other industries kind of in one place. So it was weird. It was kind of a coincidence stumbling into it, but it's been the best thing, I think, in terms of like freedom to create and the possibilities really are endless, especially with figure got. So it's been the greatest thing, I think, regardless of the people I've worked with before. It's been the most fulfilling, I'd say.
Yeah, well, that's a super inspiring story. I love a hustling queen. I love the fact that you're sending out cold call emails. Like, I know how difficult that is. So, very much respect to you. And where'd you go to school? We missed that.
Oh, it wasn't anywhere special. I just a school in England, West Midlands. Um, it just like your traditional, not like art school or anything, just like your normal school. I didn't end up going to uni. It was just as soon as I was 18, I decided just to take a gap year, and it was depending on whether that gap year was good or not, was whether I was going to go to uni. Um, but yeah, I mean, my school was just your average, your average school, I guess, in England.
Girl, getting an education of any kind is a huge accomplishment. It's hard to do, so don't ever down yourself. Winnie, let's go. I want to hear more about you, your history, kind of how you got to where you're at now, working with Figure Got. And yeah, thank you so much, Jess. That was such a great introduction.
Thanks, Jess. Well, today I actually had a really nice full circle moment with regards to my journey at this event that I was at today. So I got into crypto in like 2017, and then in 2019, I was studying fashion. I was in my final year of fashion school, and I was a boots on the ground researcher for a writer for Forbes. And I ended up going to this talk just out of like curiosity about like sustainability and all this kind of thing at London Fashion Week about by the Fabricant and Megan from Vogue Business, and they were talking about digital fashion, and I was like, this makes so much sense to me. This is just something just clicked in my head that day, and I went back to finish my undergrad, back to uni, wrote my thesis on the relationship of blockchain and fashion, just to like experiment with it and just see what was out there. And there wasn't a lot of research about this at the time. Like there was literally, it was so early, and I actually almost failed my undergrad degree because to be honest, this paper that I wrote was terrible. But hey, it was bad. But I got like 42% in it because my professor, who was a fashion history professor, was like, "Oh, there's no freaking future in this. This is a really stupid thing to be writing about. Like, this is never going to happen." And so obviously I got told that I can't do something. So I dedicated my entire life to doing it. And today at the talk, there was Kerry Murphy from the Fabricant, who I listened to 4 years ago speak about it, and I got to meet him for the first time. And I was like, hey. And I told him, and I was like, why am I like nearly crying? Like it was super lame, but it was just like it's a really small thing, but it was like the person that who inspired me to get into the space. I finally got to like meet them, and they were like, "Oh, I like your tweets." I was like, "Oh my god, you like my tweets? I love everything you've done. This is amazing." But yeah, from there, I just kind of I went on to study computer science after that to just kind of understand more about the technical side of everything. Um, Danced around in Web2 startups for a bit. Had like a little shitty startup back in 2021. That was like prop tech, which was silly. I then moved to Paris for another startup that I founded that was like fashion and blockchain. But then my accelerator that I was a part of was just like, don't use blockchain, that's a buzzword, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, okay, frick it. I'm going to go out and see what I can do. So I started just faffing around with building front end for blockchain apps, which was really great. And I got into Solidity for a bit. So yeah, I kind of dabbled in, I don't really know when I fully entered the space. It just kind of was like a slow trajectory into it. And then in 2021, I co-founded Schiller, SHILLR.xyz, which is a strategy and growth company for platforms, protocols, and projects. We launched some really great things. We worked with we did the launches for like Alien Friends. We worked with Genie, PoApp, some really cool and great names in the space. And also during that time, I was a curator for an NFT gallery in Prague, which was an amazing experience because I was mostly working with projects and stuff at Schiller and really not involved in the art side of things. And this was during the bull market, and I really just wanted to find a way that I could just give back to artists in a way and just yeah, so just curating at that gallery was just amazing, giving so many people the opportunity to have their work showcased. And for a lot of people, that was their first time either in a gallery or being shown internationally, and to like see the traditional art world and just be able to do something that takes down barriers and gatekeeping, and just, yeah, like, you know, you don't have to ship a painting across the world to have it displayed. You could just put it in a gallery and people were then able to see it. And that was just super rewarding. And then kind of like since then, I joined Figure like right at the very beginning, obviously, but yeah, I was approached by Jess and Ali to join it because of my experience of what I had done with Schiller. I quit Schiller to focus full time on Figure. Like as soon as I was shown that video, that first video that Jess did, oh my god, I just knew that there was something so special there that I was like, I'm quitting my job and I'm going all in on this, and I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be friggin' fun. So yeah, I think that's the majority of my journey.
I love it. You guys are hustling. I mean, these are really impressive stories and backgrounds, and both of you have just accomplished so much at such a young age to be, now full time starting up Figure Got. So let's dive in a little bit more to that. I would like to hear kind of just elevator pitch for those who don't know about Figure Got, maybe like the background of the character development. Jess, I don't know if you kind of want to dive into the inspiration behind this project and the inspiration behind the IP that you created. But yeah, thank you both so much for that very thorough intro. I'm loving the background.
Yeah, so in terms of like the inspiration around Figure Got, it was something that so originally the original sketches are based off drawings that me and my brother used to do when we were younger. I'm quite a big Pokemon nerd, so we used to collect a lot of Pokemon cards, and it got to the point where we'd used up all our Pokemon cards, and we wanted to create our own like set of characters to continue playing just with like new designs. I think we were around like 6 at the time then, but it was a project that we named Figure Got, and we designed loads of these characters, and it was always something that I've just it's just one of those things that you just keep at the back of your head as something that you could potentially do in the future. But if the opportunity arises, it'd be cool to reintroduce something like that. And I think the NFT space just came at a perfect place for us. It's all about creating these characters and building this storyline. And as soon as I started kind of delving myself into this space and doing a few one-of-ones, it just felt so natural to be able to now bring that project back to life. So I think the actual design itself is very lightly based off those characters. Obviously, I wanted it to have its own take of life, not just an exact replica of what it used to be, because obviously they are 6-year-old drawings, so that they're pretty trash anyway. But um, it's one of those things where it had this nostalgia to it, and I almost wanted to, through the storyline and the animations that we've been creating, to almost bring that nostalgia to other people, even though they don't have that personal connection that I might have with this this character. So it's almost bringing that nostalgia, spreading it outwards, building a project that has many branches. I think the one thing I've loved about doing it is there is so many options and routes that we could go down. We've already showcased some of the clothing and the merchandise and that kind of realm, as well as the toys. And there's like, let alone just the NFTs themselves. I think there's so much freedom to create. And there was also the other thing about 3D projects in this space having almost this like bad taste to it, and that was quite like frustrating, I guess, when you come into this space and it felt like there was a lot of rushed projects. So this is one thing for sure, as people that followed us know, it's not a rushed project. We've been around for a year and a bit, so it's making almost what I would love as the perfect 3D project, and just putting everything that we've learned into one thing.
Yeah, I really love the fact that it's kind of like something that you had like thought of when you were so young. I think a lot of people in the NFT space have been like, this makes me feel like a kid again. This is bringing back my creativity. This is making me, feel so much more like alive. And I just think it's like such a perfect testimony that like Oh my God, dude. I was literally just talking for like 30 minutes. Have y'all, was it silent the whole time?
No, you just barely cut out like 8 seconds ago.
Okay, okay. I must have like had slippery thumbs. Sorry about that. I was just freaking out. I'm like, dude, you know how much I hate silence. Like, I literally would have been throwing my phone in this pool. Um, I don't know where I was at, but basically I'm just trying to say that I love the fact that you've kind of revamped a idea that you had when you were so young. I think it just says a lot about the NFT space and how creativity can turn into something bigger. Cass, stop laughing at me. Um, how creativity can turn into something bigger down the line. Okay, glad I got that off my chest. So, next, let's kind of talk about Figure God. I really like the idea of this reverse roadmap. I want to dive into that. And I also kind of want to dive into y'all's goals as a brand and kind of like where you see yourself fitting in this Web3 NFT space, where you guys want to be building and growing.
What was the question?
I,
Information. My brain just goes like trying to. Sorry, this is me. I've had a bit of a long day. Sorry.
No,
no,
actually, I thought you guys were just being polite and waiting for the other to answer the
Okay.
question.
I literally asked like 5 questions in one, just in case you guys like want to answer any of those 5 questions. Just kind of wherever you flow.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start out with like the goals of Figure Got, and then we will jump into the reverse roadmap, like kind of like where you guys are going. Yes.
Jess, do you want me to lead with that?
Yeah, sure. I'll chip in if I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sicko mode. Yeah, so I guess there are many goals to Figure Out. It's an incredibly immersive and multifaceted brand that we're trying to build here. One being, gosh, I'm trying to like think of even which one to start with. I think I'll start with onboarding. Will probably be a really good one to start with. So one of them is we really want to work with partnerships and work in a way and create a brand that is incredibly recognizable. So going from, I always use this way of saying it, like, from a brand that's as recognizable as Supreme, but with a figure that's as recognizable as Minions. So just trying to create this whole relationship between a brand that is just super recognizable with a super strong IP that can be used for anything that's incredibly versatile. And with that comes a really great opportunity to partner with brands that want to enter the Web3 space. Not even like wanting to enter the space, but even just utilize it. So, say, working with studios to work on the IP, which is them inadvertently working with the Web3 space. So, it's about trying to create a way that makes people interact with Web3, NFTs, and the blockchain without them even realizing that that's what they're doing, because we truly believe that that is the route to onboarding. Another one is my favorite thing to talk about, which is the absolute state of Web3 merch. So if you haven't seen our collection, our season one, we're currently in the process of sampling that at the moment. It's taking a while, but it's because it's the first round of trying to get something out, testing out suppliers. So we are taking a while of making sure we're working with the right people to get this done. But actually creating a line of clothing, identity that allows your digital identity that is online to translate offline. It's all well and good, and this is something I think that CloneX do incredibly well, and I think it's super cool. Um, so I've never with Bored Apes. Okay, cool. You have your monkey is your online identity, right? Is your offline identity a black hoodie with the embroidery, like a white embroidery on it? No. Like, where is the stuff for the fashion people? We're here, and there's a gap in the market for it, and it's an incredibly exciting time for all of that. Another one is just to genuinely bring some joy and nostalgia to this space and actually just create something that people want to be involved in. Like Jess's art, just especially with the storyline and the lore and the way the figurines look, it does something to you emotionally. So it's like the same way people are obsessed with Harry Potter and Toy Story. You want to get involved in that narrative and create an immersive world that people feel like that they're not just on the outside looking in. It allows people to really be I think a really great example of that would be the new Harry Potter game that just came out. It's a lot more immersive. You feel like you're part of the story. We want to be able to create a brand, an identity that just aligns with that in a way that it's being done, of course, but we want to do it in our own way. That's just makes it incredibly special. Whether that is from, doing immersive activations like we did at ComplexCon in partnership with Coinbase, or creating a fashion line that allows you to wear a figure every day while actually being like, you could wear that. I would wear that. I'm going to wear that to Fashion Week. It's about just trying to understand what this symbiosis is between blockchain, between fashion, between our online identities. I mean, if you're in crypto, especially right now, as we're so early, it's a really big part of our personality. Like, I don't think I've dated a guy not in crypto for like 4 years. And it's really important to me. You think about it, it's like, the ethos of what we're doing, of decentralization, of digital ownership. So we need to kind of see how that's, you want to take that identity and just kind of wear it without you being like, I'm not going to wear a POAP sticker everywhere, no matter how much I love POAP. I'm not just going to stick a QR code on my chest, am I? There's got to be a way to create a symbiosis and, something a lot more secular. And there's a lot of other things that we're doing. But yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, it almost just feels like we turned a lot of our frustration into like fixing that frustrations in this space. There's a lot of things that I feel like are almost thought about as like second thoughts. Like the merch is almost this second thought thing that will happen after launch to most projects, and a lot of them are just these logos printed on white shirts. And I think even frustration in terms of 3D projects, and frustration in terms of the merchandise, frustration in terms of how projects almost do their roadmap, or how they run their communities. And I think we've been in the space for a while now to kind of pick and choose aspects of this space that work, and try and put it in our own project, in trying to answer those flaws, and do it properly. I think I'm quite a perfectionist, so things also come quite slowly, but I think in a way I'd rather do it right and slower than get it out as fast as possible, which seems like is a lot of the motive of a lot of these other projects, just kind of this really fast mint through to roadmap stage cycle that has this hype but then has its flaws. When things go up extremely fast, they also go down extremely fast. So I think we're also trying to prove that we've been here for a year, grinding, working on this project, almost not requesting anything from anyone. And that in a way it's a way to show our dedication to the brand, our dedication to what we're doing. And I hope that we can answer most of these flaws that a lot of these projects like sadly fall on their face with. So yeah.
I'm lit. I need to see some NFT merch that I want to wear to Fashion Week that is not logo on white tee. I love everything you guys have said. It makes a lot of sense. And I think it's such a, you guys are really building from the ground up and focusing on quality. And that is like rare in this space. So thank you for doing that. Also wanted to touch on these partnerships with Coinbase, ComplexCon that you guys have mentioned. If you want to talk about that experience with them and how that kind of ties into the reverse roadmap.
Yeah, so ComplexCon, I mean, that was such an awesome event for us, in the sense that it was such a community. I mean, we even had people that had won tickets attend, our booth, and to take part in loads of the activities that we were doing. And it was just such a awesome way to kind of be there for the community in person that we hadn't before. And even though we didn't almost have anything to sell in the sense of merchandise or NFTs, it was awesome to see kind of the outflow of people that arrived, clearly just to say hi and to color in our tote bags. And I think that was such an awesome partnership in the sense of building connects also with Coinbase. And I think those kind of events are goals for us to do more of. And I think when we have actual physical items eventually, and we've got a lot of plans. So I don't know if there was any more you wanted to touch on, Winnie.
Yeah, I just want to say that, like, with Coinbase, it was almost just like a test of theory. Like, there was nothing on our booth, despite just being in the Coinbase thing, that hinted towards us being an NFT project or being in crypto. People came over to our booth just because they wanted to see what was going on. What we did there was super fun, actually. let's not talk about how we put it together in literally a week. So I'm very proud of us for that and our little team coordination skills, having none of us also living in LA, which was great. But we had these little tote bags, as you can see, and like I just pinned a tweet at the top, and we just gave those away for free, and people could just come and color them in, and like you'd have the coolest like super buff dudes coming over, and they're like, oh, so what's going on here? It's like, oh, you can color in a tote bag if you want, and they're like, yeah, oh my god, this is amazing, and like these dudes were just like like hypebeast dudes were just coloring in tote bags for like an hour and talking about just the art, and they're like, oh yeah, this just, and then Jess was also live painting as well. So again, we just wanted to create a really fun, immersive, nostalgic experience that showed people the power of what it can be to build a brand without even trying to sell a product to anyone. And it was just great. If people wanted to know about blockchain and crypto, they'd speak to us about it. But other than that, they just wanted to know about the story of the art. It was really, really nice.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. It sounds like you guys are really focusing on community and connections and interpersonal relationships before focusing on, I'm an NFT project, like, the kind of just the complete opposite that a lot of these brands are doing. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. And I think it, like when you said it, it was a great test in that regards. Like we really came out there to just allow people to color totes, and it was one of the most packed booths within the Coinbase section. So I think it was a great look in terms of testing and seeing how people can come over, but also how we can structure our next events or venues that we do from that point onwards, because I think having that almost like interactivity part of the booth was so fun, but also it got people to stay around and to talk to the people that were there, and to all the founding members that were also there. So yeah, it was just such a great like community vibe, and I think that is definitely something we will strive for future booths as well.
I just want to take a moment. I just saw that. Is it Food? Foude.
Found.
Found. Yeah, I just saw that you replied to one of Jess's tweets about her art and asking if it was the top 2 that were 3D. Everything that is posted on the Figuregot account is art created by Jess in 3D renders, which is just every time she posts a picture and like in the Discord before we send it out, it's just like, Jess, what the frick? Like, that's exactly that. You don't realize that everything that she does is 3D. So yeah, you've fooled them already, Jess.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Yes, I was actually going to comment to the art. It is pretty fantastical. You feel like you are immersed in this realm with how gorgeous all of your designs are. It's just, I am astonished. And so, yeah, if you have not seen some of these animations, they are out of this world.
It's been such like a fun process to do, almost build like a storyline within a world that we're kind of creating as it goes. And I think it's such a rewarding experience as well, seeing the feedback we've got from the animations. I think at this point we've posted about 10 about 1 minute animations, as well as many other little animations throughout the year. So but yeah, it's been so good because I don't have a brief from someone to tell me what to write. It's the type of thing where you just go, okay, what do you want to build from this point? What do you want to say in story form, in art form? And I think those are honestly one of the greatest briefs, because it means that you can literally go wherever your mind takes you. So, and I think for me that has been, the best thing about having that freedom to do animations and build a storyline without kind of having someone saying, move this frame, this thing looks off or whatever. And I think, yeah, it's thank you for saying that as well.
Yeah, so let's definitely talk about the reverse roadmap. I've said it like a couple times. I'm gonna be saying it in my sleep tonight, like reverse roadmap, reverse. Basically, that was in y'all's manifesto, and it sounds like it's kind of doing the complete opposite strategy that a lot of these NFT companies are doing. So do you guys want to talk a little bit more about the inspiration and implementation behind this reverse roadmap idea?
For sure. Oh, Jess, do you want to go?
Nah, go ahead.
Yeah, so actually, I hate to give this to a man, but this term was coined by official Ali M. So props to him for coming up with the little term of reverse roadmap. But it really did just come from. So we started building about a year ago, and obviously that was during the end of the hype market and all of that. But we just didn't feel like we were really in the place to mint. Like, it's all about delivering to people, and it's super important to be able to be in that place to deliver. Like, we didn't want to be, selling figurines or whatever, and people have to wait 8 months for them to arrive. Like, we've seen that with even some of the biggest projects there are. And we're living in a space where people are treating BAYC as the norm and not the exception. So everyone had just gone in and tried to copy paste what BAYC did, and that's just not going to work. So, but they had their roadmap. They had no idea what was going to happen with it. I remember looking at their mint page. Didn't mint. I'm very stupid, but I remember seeing like their little roadmap, and I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. But that's just not the case anymore. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to ensure that we had absolutely everything in place to ensure that post mint we can deliver genuine value. So with that, I guess even ourselves coming to this reverse roadmap, I've been in this space for freaking 5 years now. God, that's terrifying. So just making sure you have those connections in place with the people, with real life distribution. Like, people don't realize how long it takes to get a sweater sampled. It can take months, and finding the right distributors, and alongside that, finding production houses to work with. We're a small team, and we're a young team as well. So we just genuinely wanted to ensure that we just had everything in place to be able to give quality from the very, very beginning. And I think we kind of did that with we've got showing that we can do partnerships with Coinbase. And for myself, things that like personal and business relationships are incredibly important to me. So we have our friends over at Ledger. I was speaking at the Ledger Open just a few months ago talking about crypto security, which is an incredible thing for me. I was super happy to do that. It was very scary, but super cool. So just ensuring that we have these relationships in place with the people who matter in this space before we do anything,
Absolutely. And it's incredible to hear the process behind why you believed this would be a better path forward in the space, that you have taken the lessons many of us who have been here in Web3 for a while and have seen projects succeed or fail based on these small tweaks to this unofficial roadmap that has been kind of placed upon us. And I love that you turned it on its head and have taken all of the downsides of this roadmap that we have seen from other projects and said, I hate this or I love this, and have applied it to your own projects, goals. And so that's incredible to see. And I know that Frankie had touched on as well the manifesto, which is where this roadmap had come from for you guys. Can you tell us a little bit about your desire to put a manifesto out, and tell us maybe a little bit about the ins and outs of that as well?
I mean, for sure, yeah. I think one of the most important things in this space is transparency and information. And that is something that we don't get enough of, and it's something that can be incredibly difficult to find. Right now, we're currently redoing our website, so we've had to take that down, but we wanted to put something in place so that people can really just see and read and get as much information as possible, and just, I guess that it really does come down to that, and just have every answer answered for you in a really easy to read bit of information that we constantly update. So it's like when we announce mint and supply, that'll get added in, and then there'll be a little update on the main page that tells you exactly where to go. We just think that, the economy of information in this space is it's fickle. Like, you don't want to have to be scrolling through a Twitter account that's constantly changing, or tweets get deleted to try and find information. You don't want this overly immersive 3D website where you're scrolling through it trying to find, just the smallest bit of information. yeah, we want to live in the metaverse. We want everything to be cool and sparkly and interesting. But sometimes you just need a friggin' Git book where you can go and find that information. We can do everything. We're going to do some super cool stuff with our website. But transparency, DYOR, is not something to be messed around with in this space. People need information to make as informed a decision as possible. And we want to give them the tools to do that.
Whew. Well said. I love it. You're inspiring me.
Thanks. I need Botox after writing that, to be honest. It did take a few years off my life.
You know what? And that's worth it. You know, you can say this wrinkle is from the time that I had to write up this particular document, and this is. I love that.
Look,
though.
man,
Yeah,
wrinkles
yeah,
are roadmaps.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I love
Tell my doctor that. Yeah.
Yes, someday we'll tell our kids, honey, it is the reason I am covered in these wrinkles is because of all the things I've been through.
I'm just gonna look like one of those hairless sphinxes by men. You know?
I love it. I love it.
You guys are hilarious. I definitely feel that. I think what you said that I really vibe with, Winnie, is kind of like you guys are combining Web 2 marketing and communication outlets or channels with a Web 3 brand. And I feel like so many of these bigger brands are so afraid to do that, just to post like a freaking newsletter, you know what I mean? So I really love the idea and the concept that you guys are like not afraid to have like a Medium article that is like constantly being updated and stuff like that. I think it's really good strategy. So yeah, props to you.
You know, I'd like to add as well that coming from a legal standpoint, we are seeing much of the landscape change for what is required of projects to really follow suit with on their commitments to their holders, to making sure that they are not making these grandiose goals for their, people and you know, almost almost I wouldn't say trickery, but we have unfortunately been taken advantage of in some of this regard because there is such a big push for some specific thing, a game, merchandise. It's maybe it's in-person, parties, whatever it might be, even some of the smaller things. And from a legal standpoint, it is refreshing to see that there's plans in place where all realms, Web 2, Web 3, are satisfied here with a way that it is, given a lot of thought to the promises that people are hoping on and staking a lot of um, you know, financials for themselves upon some of these things as well. I think that's taking into consideration here as, that way that you guys implemented a roadmap in that, I think will suffice for some of the concerns on the Web 2 side as well, which is really amazing to see. I think this will be some of the future plans we see out of larger projects where they will say, okay, we've got a set timeline for something, so maybe we don't say anything yet and we just build it and then we give it to our people. And that's it's wonderful to see that.
For sure. And like I can understand, like sometimes in the Discord, excuse me, we have some really cool partnerships and things underway behind the scenes. And I know there's a frustration in the Discord. People are like, oh, when this. We can't friggin' tell you. Like, there are legal things going on. And once we can tell you about Coinbase and all that stuff till like a week before. Unless you've crossed the T's and dotted the I's, like, bruh, it's not worth it for me. Signed. It's frustrating for us as well. We want to tell you all the cool stuff we've got going on, but you wanted to yell at me? I'm sending you my lawyer's email, and he can charge you per email if you want to go down that route.
Yes, exactly. Here's my lawyer's email. Go ahead and take it up with him. He'll tell you
Yeah,
exactly what I just said, which is shush.
yeah,
You must be patient. Patience is a
yeah.
virtue.
It's like you find out when everyone else finds out. Like, bro, I don't even know what's going on half the time. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I think another aspect here is that things are starting to change really where as soon as you say something, being the leader, the owner, the CEO, the head of a certain project, as soon as you say, we're going to give this, we're going to do this, you are immediately on a deadline. That you have said something, you are now committed to getting that out in a certain timely manner. And that I think is, we have been through that process of like the teasing and the guessing and the conspiracies and for behind whys. And when project leaders come out and say, oh, you'll never believe who we just talked to and all this stuff. Well, guess what? Now that they've said something, boom, TikTok, TikTok. Like you better make that promise happen. Otherwise, we'll see you in court. Like it's starting to get serious enough there. And so, it's nice to see you guys have been around for a while and that you are holding down your yeah, sometimes I think it's probably hard, especially as leaders of a movement like this too, where when you see that criticism of you're not moving fast enough, and it's well, sort of, maybe to you, because Web3, we're all babies here. We're all learning and changing and growing together, and we're doing it different. And sometimes different is so hard for many
Oh,
people who want it to like
100%.
go, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, no, you're fine, you're fine.
I just want to say, but also like these things do go both ways, and it's like the speculation that like people in the community can have about a project. They're like, oh, so when we mint, like, when like how do we give you our address to ship the product for free? And I'm like, that is an incredibly speculative thing that no one has ever said anything about. And also, it's like project like it's just the understanding of what it means to have margins in a business. I understand like a lot of people who are in Web3 and especially holders and people who haven't founded companies before don't understand cash flow. So it's like having this unfair expectation on companies to provide something that they never said that they were going to do. And also like it doesn't make any financial sense to provide that. And then you also have the parallel of that of founders promising to do that without understanding what their post-mint cash flow is going to be. So it really does go multiple ways. But I think a really great example of the builders that have come and stayed and like now are doing some incredible things. I don't own one, but the Sappy Seals, oh my god, they are blowing it out the water with what they're doing with merch and partnerships, and also with Pudgy Penguins as well. But because I know they got acquired for like 2 mil or something by Luca. What he has done with that brand is absolutely incredible. That man knows how to do e-commerce. He has a great history with doing it, and he's really been what that brand couldn't be. He's really brought it up and is doing exactly what should be done with these brands. They have incredibly strong IP. They've got incredible communities, and yeah, it's really cool to see what it means to have a project. Like I thought, I'm gonna say it. I thought about 6, 8 months ago that Sappy Seals was a rug. Like, did not think anything of it. I was like, oh, this is just another lazy lines, blah 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 blah. But Wab, damn, like he has blown it out the water. He's genuinely worked hard to build this brand out, and I guess like you wouldn't expect that. I didn't expect it, and I was obviously wrong. But like you see all these people trying to build brands that are like doing that, but some people are genuinely building brands. They've had e-commerce experience, marketing experience, and they're applying it, and they're genuinely changing the shape of the space and what it means to bridge between Web2 and Web3. So yeah, just want to give those two projects what they deserve, and I can happily say I was wrong.
Isn't that the best though? When you come in and you're like, yeah, that's a no. But then it it turns out there are honest and true intentions that are still emerging and still exist in this ecosystem. It gives me hope for the future to see, things like that happen where like there's these leaders in the space of, our professional Web2 world that are coming in and they're blending together. They're learning Web3 and then they are elevating what, a project could be. And so it's wonderful and inspiring just really to see more people like Luca to come in and really change the game. So I didn't know, Frankie, my apologies if I'm jumping in or anything. And we wanted to come in and ask as well, you guys have had this uh, experience doing this one, flip on your head uh, storyline map that you guys got going. And my question for you is, where have you felt the strongest, like, because you get those when you take a deep dive and you do something really different in this space and it's almost frightening. um what was that one moment where you came out through this commitment and said, yes, like this is exactly, it's going to work, like I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, it feels good, and that like it's clicked for you, that like this is exactly what the space needs?
From the very second I saw that first video, that feeling has not left me, and that's why I get out of bed every day.
That's so easy. That's so easy. Don't know. Jess, I need you to give me more.
That's such a good question. I'm actually glad when he answered first, because I was really trying to think. I think you're right though, in the sense that most things that are the right route are the ones that you find the most scary and the most intimidating. And to be honest, like normally I know I'm doing something correct if I'm always worried. And with Figure God, it's not that I'm worried, but you have this feeling of like it's scary because it's something that's correct that you should be doing, and it's such a big leap. I think for me as well, I normally was always someone almost behind the spotlight, in the sense of, whether it be the touring graphics, it was always, the artist name first, like the actual the music artist, and I was kind of behind the scenes, whereas this is kind of flipped on its head, and it almost feels like now it's I'm kind of showing my art from that perspective. And that was always very intimidating for me, because I'm not the most extroverted person in the world, so it was quite a leap in that regard. Even doing these type of spaces, I think if I'd have said I was speaking about my work like this in front of people about like a year or two ago, I would have not believed myself. So there's always small steps like that, which it might be small for someone else but are big for someone like me. And sorry, by the way, I'm absolutely freezing. My nose is running, so I've tried to get to somewhere warm so I could talk properly. I'm in the middle of a wood, trying to not die with my torch on because it's pitch black. So bear in mind if I don't answer a couple questions.
No, this is wonderful. I'm glad to see there are others that are playing Hogwarts Legacy in real life and going out in the middle of the woods with their wands. I appreciate it. It's really I'm jealous. I'm just jealous.
I went out to get a drink and it's turned into this mile-long journey. I'm down bad right now.
Oh my gosh, Jess, what are we gonna do with you? But yeah, so Jess doesn't give herself enough credit for how freaking brilliant everything that she does is. I want to say, like, so for me, when I worked at Schiller, I viewed hundreds of projects a week, and I'm talking friggin' hundreds, and 99.9% of them were absolute dog water. It was, it was an interesting place to be. It also was peak bull market, so everyone and their nan was churning out a project. But yeah, as soon as I hadn't even seen the art of what the figure got was, just that video, and I was like, this is something different. And I'd always been a bit of a fan of Jess's art So it was like super cool to have the opportunity. And I also think like, yeah, you just don't give yourself enough credit for your brilliance, mate, to be honest. And I do think it's kind of good because I'm quite an extrovert. Well, Winnie is. My normal persona of my real name is less so, but you know, it balances quite well.
No, I completely agree in the sense that like as a team as a whole, it would never have worked if it has everyone who are just introverts or whatever. We need people like Winnie and Ali, whether it be Winnie's alter ego personality or whatever. It was what was required. I think there's no way me or Callum would have been able to do kind of almost press runs for Figure Got by ourselves. So it works so well in that regard.
I do think something super cool that were able to do together was when we were at ComplexCon, there was a panel on stage, and we did a little panel together with some other creators like, Krypton Goons, Jeff Staples' team, the EMA team, and Polykate, I think it was, with Coinbase. And yeah, I think that was a really cool moment for us to all just be up there and be like, wow, we're among some really great people, some really great projects. So we're getting that recognition. I think that was a really cool moment for us, to be honest. Sorry, you can just hear the sound of my Haribo packet in the background.
I respect that.
You're either like in the woods during spaces or you're not. I'm actually sitting outside for the first time in a long time, and it's really lovely. Make sure you wear your sunscreen, people, if it's heating up where you're at like it is here. I did want to open the stage up to anyone in the audience who wants to ask the lovely ladies of Figure Got any questions or comments on you. I love hearing your voice. I love everything you've been saying. I'm glad to have you here again, Queen. Yeah, in the meantime, I did want to ask about the intellectual property aspect. Jess, like I know it's kind of a worldwide brand and it's like doing copyright or trademarking or any of those things that you guys are working on. If you are allowed to say and comfortable saying, how have you been navigating that in the global aspect? Because I know trademarks are different per country. Just want to touch on that a bit.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think, when you start a company or a project, you kind of almost forget the things that come with starting a project. And I think trademarking, marketing, finding people behind the scenes to do various tasks. I know for Coinbase, it was the type of thing where, it sounds easy to create a booth to some extent, but then you realize you need people to actually build the tables. You need someone to put up the wallpaper. And there's always these kind of, I guess, liabilities that come from starting something that you don't always think about when you first create a brand, I guess. Yeah. So in terms of trademarking, I mean, I don't know how much I can say, but I know that I have, obviously, in the UK, you're able to trademark logos, names, as long as there's not anything similar under that name. But I know as a brand, we need to obviously have that secured, especially with clothing and releasing products into the world. We need almost that security behind our IP and our trademarking. But that obviously was all sorted before we even begun Figure Out. I think it would have been ridiculous to then work out trademarks and sort that out afterwards. But yeah, I don't know how much I can say, but if that helps answer that kind of question.
Yeah, we're starting to get into territory here also where it's tricky.
Yeah.
Like, wait. That was on my contract or NDA. Or
exactly. I was
careful.
picking words very carefully there.
Well, thank you for doing so. Also wanted to welcome Fao to the stage and also announce that she has been added to the official Queens of CloneX core host group. We added a couple queens recently that we're going to be announcing soon, but Fao is one of them. We've had like exceptional leaders in our communities that we really felt we wanted to have on our hosting stage more. So yeah, welcome Fao. How you doing, Queen?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Got a bit of a cold, so I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. But yeah, no, great. I've loved listening to all this. I've got to run off and put my kids to bed. I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say before I go that I just wanted to reiterate what Winnie was saying. Jess, you are insanely talented. Those the tweet that I commented on, those images, I spent ages looking at them, just going, how did she do that? It's like, I know Photoshop quite well, and I was like, that is really hella good Photoshop skills, but it can't be 3D. It can't, because it looks too realistic for 3D. So the level of work that you are doing is just mind blowing, and for someone like so young to have such a talent and such a sort of creative vision, I just think is absolutely fabulous. And yeah, I can't wait to see all the stuff you come up with. So it's just awesome. Well done.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, that feedback like that really means the world. I think, I try and put everything into this project, and for me to kind of even hear feedback from the comments on some of the posts, I think it's so rewarding to know that, the effort you're putting in is getting kind of reciprocated in that regard. And I think for me as well, you're able to kind of put out that much content when you enjoy doing it, and I've always enjoyed doing it. It's something that I feel like if I wasn't doing this job, I'd somehow be doing it in a hobby. I think I'd have to. So it's easy in that regards to be able to put out so much stuff, because when you enjoy it, it almost feels like second nature to create and to come up with ideas. Like even before I go to bed or something, I like to write down some ideas or beside my bed for the morning, because I feel like you have to have that kind of internal motivation to get you to keep creating stuff and not lose that drive. And it's always, there's always what people say, like if you do it too often, you'll end up finding your hobbies become your work, and you lose out of touch with your love for that hobby. But I think maintaining that and trying to continue it in a healthy but also work related aspect is always like a goal of mine. I didn't want to overwork myself in that regards, but I'm sorry, I'm still trying to find a place to sit, but yeah, thank you so
Do you
much.
know what though? Like having the ability to create, use what you love and actually turn that into a career, sort of so early in your career, is amazing. And makes me feel slightly jealous of the fact that there's you can take your passion and your love and you can actually turn that into a business. So it's just awesome, and it's amazing. So keep on going.
Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you.
Also,
Yes.
I want to point out that Jess just lied. She just did a big fat lie. She said before she goes to sleep, I have never once had any encounter with Jess actually sleeping.
No, she's got to say that though. It's the vampire life. Like you have to just let her pretend that she sleeps.
She's a bit sus on that one.
Yeah, that's kind
Well,
of facts. I'm sorry.
I think what you guys are doing is amazing. Sorry, I just got to interrupt because I've got to run and put the kids to bed. But I just think it's awesome, and I'm really excited to be part of the project. And thank you so much for the spaces, guys. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Loud, for coming up and give all your babies kisses for us. We also have Cass up here. Cass, are you postponing your spaces just so you can jump up here and chill with us?
No, we're going in like an hour, but I just had to. I mean, I see why you guys brought Fout on as a queen of CloneX core spaces member, because she stole everything I wanted to say. In reality, I mean, I've been following Jess for a while, and I can see why. I just like hadn't seen it, and now yeah, it's just like painfully jealous at how talented you are across all these different mediums. But I can just tell that you're just meant to do this, and yeah, it's amazing to see someone just hella talented at such a young age, like doing such cool stuff this early in the space. And yeah, Winnie, you're obviously a killer too. It's a dangerous group that you guys got going, because I can tell she knows more than just like Web3 degen jokes and shit posting. Um, there's some real business strategy going on in the back end there, and so that's the fun part when you see people like actually really trying to make something that lasts. that's when you know we got something real going here, and you guys are killing it. So just keep doing your thing, Jess. I hope to catch up to you one day. Jeez, good lord.
Yeah. Oh, I thank you so much. That really means a lot. I think you know, it's I said it again and I'll say it again, or I said it once, I'll say it again. You know, hearing feedback, I think, you know, through voice rather text is such like a, you know, it feels so overwhelming because to me, you know, I'm in my room just creating it and you almost don't get that instant feedback, and it's nice to be able to speak to people and hear that emotion behind. And I really, from the deepest of my heart, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Cass, you know what? She can do a little bit of, you know, shit posting or being a DJ if she wants to, and be an incredible creator at the same time. So, you know, it's okay. It doesn't have to be separate.
Do it all. I can tell. She's gonna do it all.
So I'm definitely like against these type of people, but I think for the sanity of the space, I have to ask. So win mint.
You really caught me off guard there.
Guys, I'm just going with the script.
I forgot that there was a soundboard. I was like, let's go. Mint soon.
That's the forbidden question.
Mint soon.
Oh
Forbidden
gosh,
question,
everyone in the
soon,
Discord is saying when is getting timed out. So we actually have a really fun feature in our Discord that if you say when mint, you get put on timeout for a minute. Like, I just thought that was really funny.
That's incredible. You should have it do like one of your little figures like doing a dance, and like the pop up is like just
Like an
like a
automatic
minute.
response. Jeff, get on that
Hey,
now.
yo, that's a great idea.
It's just they have to watch it for a minute while it dances in front of them. It's like, you need some vibes.
I think it could be fun to do like some little allowance giveaways, to be honest, because we do be minting soon. I don't know. What do we think?
We will
My
never
vote.
say no. We will never say no to it.
Okay, so if you are in this space and you're in our Discord, do a little proof of space. So go in, send your little screenshot of you in this space. You have a minute to do it. But don't worry, queens, I got you. I got my queens.
You probably got people running to their computer right now, like literally frantically handshaking to send a screenshot.
Yeah, I'm actually outside because my apartment's being worked on, and so I'm trying to find a way to get back in and actually log into the Discord because it only works on my PC. So yeah, thank you for that. I might be rugged.
Cass is trying to break into his own place and knock over the construction guy, the worker maintenance man who's trying to do his job. Cass is like, bigger God in the guy's ear. Let's go though. 1 minute. 1 minute.
I didn't even like start a countdown. I should have done that. Okay, I'll give you. You got like a minute. Yeah, you're good. This is fun. I feel powerful.
Yes, also, and if you need help getting into the Discord, you can click on the pin above and go to FigureGot's main page, and they have a Discord link to get in there if you have not been in yet. It is a fantastical and magical little place to be. So you're hooked. You're going to be hooked now.
Also, we're going to be wrapping in about 10 minutes or so, unfortunately, but funnel into Cass's space after this. They're also doing a really impressive creator highlight, and I'm excited. I can't be there because I literally have back-to-back meetings for the next 4 hours after this space, but I'm glad I was able to be a human before I went into Web 2 robot, you know what I mean? But if anybody else has more questions for our lovely ladies at FigureGot, feel free to hit that request button, and yeah, thank you all again.
Yes, and also if you are also like Cass and are stuck out of your apartment or wherever you are, you can also send a proof of I'm stuck and I can't get into the Discord. We appreciate it. And if you have never done that before, there's a little bubble at the bottom that has a little message thing. You can add your photos, you can comment, and the team here at FigureGot, Winnie and Jess will be able to see it, and as well for us we'll be able to follow along with any of your stories. Maybe you have a Figure Got story to share with us. You can leave it there and we'll be able to reply and everything later as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
I turned my oh, sorry. Okay, it's now closed, you motherfuckers. So I'll get on that this evening.
I'm excited. And yeah, I am never gonna allow or condone anyone to be a win boy, a win girl, a win reply. Those are like my least favorite people. So I'm telling you guys right now, if you ever comment on anything WEN, you gotta stop. Like you gotta stop right now. You gotta stop today. It's over. Like that time has passed. But yeah, thank y'all so much to the ladies at Figure Got for opening up the allow list. Very kind of you. And we're very lucky. I mean, this project is reverse roadmap genius.
Thank you, ladies, so much for having us. I mean, I'm, always been a huge fan of the clones. I am a queen clone myself. I just can't rep it at the moment because I got to be true to the gods. But I love the queens, here for it always, and so grateful to be up here with you, ladies.
We are so grateful to you for coming in and letting us interview you, grill you, and get to know you and your Figure Got project a little bit more. It is, and this is kind of how it goes too, where sometimes we do the Queen Spaces at an hour that is not the best for some of our international friends. And so I'm sure that as the day progresses, people will get to listen in. And this is a recorded space. So if you are just tuning in and you're gonna miss us because we're gonna be closing out the space in about 5-ish, 10-ish minutes, you can always listen back and get some really incredible info from Winnie and Jess. It just absolutely a treat to have you guys. We are grateful for your brilliant minds and for your presence here in the space, which is just, it's a delight to be able to see all the content that you guys put out, and just your vibes are immaculate. I love you.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. Thank you, ladies, so much. We can go ahead and wrap it early because I would actually like to maybe eat something before the next 5 hours. You know what I mean? Trying to keep it alive over here. Alive. But yeah, this is the CloneX and CEOs, where we are highlighting builders, founders, CEOs within the CloneX community. This was one of the first ones we've done with Winnie and Jess of Figure Got, and yeah, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm thinking maybe coming up soon, we got to have an unhinged spaces. I don't know what you think, Anya, but I know I got some stuff to say.
Yes, we will definitely be. We'll get some of those wiggles out, get a little bit of sillies, and in the space. We will be doing that very soon. So thank you for everyone for tuning in. Let's let Frankie go have a lunch. Winnie and Jess, would you like to leave us with any parting thoughts before we go, and or just maybe words of wisdom?
In gods we trust.
I'd like that.
Let's go. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank y'all so much. I had a dream that we had a new theme song, but we don't yet, but I'm working on it. So until then, in Figure Gods we trust.